Hi, good evening. Welcome to our podcast episode 36. Tonight we'll be talking about Crypto 101, the real world asset. Okay, so what is the real world asset? So the real world asset is actually refers to tangible or intangible asset from the physical world that actually holds inherent value. So these actually include things like real estate, commodities, arts, intellectual property, car, bond, or even metals, materials. So essentially, the real world asset are assets that are rooted in the real economy that have a proven value. So in the context of blockchain, so in the context of blockchain, it's actually probably real world asset is actually increasingly being tokenized. So meaning that they are actually digitally represented by a token in the blockchain. So how are we actually going to use these tokens? So this asset actually allows to be traded, managed, or invest in the blockchain technology, making them more liquid and accessible to broader range of investors. So for example, a tokenized real asset means it can actually allow individual to own a fraction of ownership or own a small portions of building without a need to purchase the entire property. So real world assets are traditional assets brought on chain through tokenizations. So this actually bridges the gap between the traditional finance and the defined world. So let us take a look at some problems with real world asset at the moment. So currently there is not many people probably into these real world asset tokens. So meaning to say that real world asset tokens are not as liquidity as normal cryptocurrency. So buyer and seller may be limited. So also that there is also this blockchain risk that the smart contract may be uh, hacked or exploited by individuals. So and also the ownership on to the clear of the legal dispute might not be clear on the who is going to own the asset on these tokens. So there is many things about the real world asset is evolving and finding solution to it. So currently now there are actually a lot of ways of finding ways to actually do improve the real world asset in this crypto world. So like they are actually using for ownerships. They're using blockchain for land registry and property transactions. So some countries uh, like Dubai properties are actually some actually uh, use it use this blockchain to actually record their land registry and property transactions. Some countries like example in the Switzerland, they are also working towards tokenizing their real estate. So there is actually many real estate platform out there. So probably later I will share some with you. So one of the solution is also trying to improve the liquidity of these real world asset tokens uh, so that it can be traded 24/7 on this decentralized exchange. And most important is actually enhance the smart contract security in all the real world asset projects, which is undergo probably engage the third party audits, firm like the Certix or the Chain Security to actually do auditions on all the smart contracts. So some of the contract security actually is quite important to this real world asset. So for one of them is actually Chainlink, provided a proof of reserve. So what is this proof of reserve? It's actually a way to verify the tokens from the real world asset to prove that they actually exist and actually really backed by these real assets. So there is also the Nexus Mutual, which actually provide defined insurance coverage for smart contract failures if it happens in the real world asset platforms. So and also to how to show the ownerships of the real world assets, to improve the custodial solutions to actually make the probably the third party wallet to actually have a decentralized identity, and also to do KYC to improve the ownership and identifications or verifications in the blockchain. So the real in the blockchain world, the decentralized finance is actually integrated with the real world assets into system to convert them into digital tokens so that it can be traded, stored, and transacted without relying on traditional intermediaries. So I'll like to share some types of real world asset investments that actually make use of tokenizing them. So like the tokenized finance instruments, there are also examples of it, like the tokenized bond, like government or incorporates bond issues on chain, like the US Treasury bond tokens. One of them is like Ondo Finance. So there is also tokenized equity, stock represent on blockchain, like the synthetic assets from platform like Mirror Protocol. So there is also tokenized private credit and debt market as well. So some examples are like the on-chain loan backed by real-world collateral, like the Mabel Finance or the Centrified, and also the Goldfinch or Clearpool. There are also some of the uh, tokenized invoice financing companies. So are the real-world asset also can be tokenized commodities. Commodities like the gold, which is actually backed by stable coins like the PA, PEX or AAXAUT. These are actually some kind of tokenized silver, gold, or even we can actually tokenize agriculture products to ask for exposure to physical assets. So last but not least, what real assets can be found also in the tokenized real estate. So people can actually own fractions of properties, own fractions of ownership of properties while security tokens. So even like the REITs on blockchains, whereby digital token represents shares in the real estate investment trust. So let's take a look. One of the uh, common and popular real estate tokenization is by the Realty. So what Realty did was they actually is a tokenized real estate investment company. So what they actually really do is actually is a blockchain-based platform that enable investors to own fraction share of real estate properties through tokenization. So this company actually was created in the US. So it's actually focused in rental properties. So allowing investors worldwide to earn passive income through blockchain-based dividend. So if you realize actually a lot of real world asset is actually being tokenized and being able to be traded and actually purchased over through exchanges out there in the crypto world. So it's very commonly now, and a lot of real estate is actually going through the tokenizations. So probably I will share, I'll bring a few scenario. So since realty, I will actually share what actually realty, some key feature of realty, and I'm not promoting it, but I'm actually showing how it related with the real world asset. So for realty, it's actually having key features that allows uh, individual to buy small portions of ownerships. So and also they are able to earn rental yield through the crypto payment. So probably this is actually a kind of very low entry cost that people can invest in real estate for the share probably as low as 50 USDT. So by using, since we have known that blockchain is actually a very transparent method in the finance world, it enables to actually allow all the transactions to be recorded on chain for security. So it makes uh, trading or made all the investment safe in the blockchain world. So and also this method, it allow a lot of global accessibility to international investors, and if so that they will not be restricted to invest in property over any other countries. Like just imagine if I would like to invest property in probably New Zealand, I'm actually stationed in Singapore. Probably I might not need to actually go all the way to New Zealand to actually look at this property and purchase it and actually need to uh, get a mortgage loan and do all the hassle paperwork. But probably this method actually allow any individual to easily invest based on their comfortable investment amount. So sooner or later, you guys will see a lot of the real world asset will be integrated with the property, the integrated with all the blockchain. You know. So the benefit actually, like mentioned just now, unlike the traditional real estate method, you have to actually have some duration to actually do to probably it's not so liquidity. It's actually probably you need to do the paperwork before you can sell the property, which will take you like months. So if it can be sold over a exchange, a 24/7 market, you can actually liquidate your asset anytime using the token issued as the real world as connected with the real world asset. So, but currently there is a lot of regulatory compliance that the tokenized real estate is still considered a security under the SEC regulation. And also, the market have risk over the transaction, which normally the transactions are actually over on some on chain, probably on Ethereum chain or even in Synosis chain. So these chain are actually prone to hacking the contract as well. So uh, a lot of technology improvement still have to be fine-tuned to improve the real world asset with the blockchain. So comparing real world asset to the traditional real estate investment, probably on the ownership type, for traditional real estate, probably you need to have a full ownership. But in the crypto world, probably you can just own a fraction without buying the whole property. And probably the investment will be actually as low as, like just now I mentioned, like 50 or 100 USDT, which probably if you were to buy the whole real estate, which will cost you 50 or 100 over 1,000. So definitely based on the trading method, uh, it can be traded easily through tokens. Unlike the liquidity in the traditional way, you probably might need months to actually sell the property away. So, in conclusion, this real world estate with the blockchain might be a game changer in the real estate industry, which actually blockchain based rental income can be actually given passive earning to individual without putting in huge investment. So next, in the finance world, supply chain finance world, there is this platform called Centrifuge. Centrifuge actually is a streamlined financing which actually reduce paperwork that require in the banks. So it actually uh, is a actually defined platform that tokenize real world asset and bring them onto the on-chain for financing and lending functions. So this enable business to be used real world asset. Example like the invoices, the real estate, or even the bank functions, which we use as collateral. So this access the decentralized finance liquidity, allow people to actually make transaction easily over the blockchain. So it also have its own native tokens like the CFG, which used to governize the platform, and probably there is some staking function or even the transaction fee is actually using their native token. So how it actually works? So businesses actually it brings off-chain asset into the blockchain. So these assets are actually tokenized into NFTs on their blockchain. And probably all these NFT actually represent legal ownership of the real world assets. So people can actually do financing easily through this platform that actually links the real world asset into the blockchain world. So most of the key features that they actually provide is actually like turns invoice, real estate, and trade finance into blockchain-based NFT. So in order actually allow the uh, individual to use it as a collateral for any borrow or lending functions to be made. So some example that the centrifuge in the real world assets are like the mortgage back lending for developer, or small businesses can actually use unpaid invoices for funding, or even in the logistic world, logistics company can actually use the tokenized shipping invoices to actually put it in their platform. So this allow actually a lot of people to actually access a defined loan without a bank. So business use real asset for financing. So in this real world asset, people can actually use cryptocurrency to finance their finances as well. So In this way, the real world assets can actually allow them to generate consistent returns instead of all the volatile crypto assets. So just take an example, like if you require to take any loan in the traditional bank, probably it might take weeks or months to actually get your loan approved. But if you use the smart contract over at the platform, since it's a decentralized finance, probably it might take minutes or just hours to actually approve with your collateral work, with your world real world assets as a collateral. Okay, so not to mention the crypto, the DeFi world is actually all transparent, it's actually public, unlike the banks are actually all using the private method, which you can't actually see what happens to your assets. So let's take a look how the real world asset can be tokenized through commodities. So now there is a lot of people probably purchase instead of getting real gold as purchasing real gold as to keep in their investment. They can actually also purchase tokens, which is pegged to gold or any other materials. So tokenized commodities, uh, in the process of it turns the real world commodities such as gold or even oil and gas or even like the energies into tokens, digital tokens on the blockchain. So this token represent ownership or a claim on the underlying commodities, which can be sold, purchased, or be traded over the decentralized platform. So this concept actually falls under the real world asset as well, whereby this physical asset can be actually represented in the form of digital tokens. So you do not require to actually physically purchase or sell the item. Probably you can actually just trade it over an exchange. So this actually give easier trading and liquidity and also transparency. So tokenized commodity can actually unlock a lot of new opportunities in investment and also reduce the inefficiency in physical items. So there's a few advantages of actually tokenized commodities. Is just like I mentioned, the its liquidity is very better than physical items. People can actually access it 24/7. Some actually probably want to purchase commodities uh, outside of business hours. In the tokenized commodities market, probably you is open 24/7 for you to actually trade across any global time zone. So it can be also fractionized since it's in the token form. It can be actually purchased in a fractionized method, which make it more easier for smaller investors to participate. So based on the efficiency, definitely is more efficient than physical item. So tokenized commodity can streamline settlements and clear process much more faster, reducing cost and delay compared to the traditional systems. So now it's actually very common to see a lot of real world estate being tokenized, especially in the oil and gas industry, or even the real estate, like I mentioned just now. Okay, so the benefit, not to mention, there's a lot of benefits of the real world estate being tokenized. One of them is, like I mentioned just now, which actually allow you to trade it globally 24/7 without having to wait for the businesses to open before you can actually trade the item. It also reduces costs because you might not need intermediaries to be part of the transactions. You can actually trade directly through an exchange. So, accessibility is one of the things in the real world asset tokenization because you can purchase the item or trade the item in a fractional way, which actually it might be allow smaller investors to actually uh, make the purchase. Okay, so not to forget there is more better transparency in the blockchain world since it's using tokens in the blockchain. So let's take a look at how the technology involved in the real world asset. So like there is many platform or blockchains that actually uses the Ethereum, Solana, or many other kind of infrastructure. So just now I mentioned like Realty is actually using Ethereum. So many real asset can be formed or tokenized. This depend on the platform. So one of the standards are the stable coins. Like the stable coins are one of the type of real world asset that is actually pegged to fiat currency. So also like some uh, people actually use real world data to connect to the blockchain to provide real time price feed. So if you notice, there is actually a lot of countries is starting to adopt real world asset tokenizations, even in the real estate or the bank finance area. So since it's working in the blockchain, it actually can allow automated management. So this actually allow you to create smart contracts to actually record the uh, the ownerships in the contract. So this allows the real world asset to be detailed and the descriptions can be actually written in all the smart contracts for the physical items. Okay, like I mentioned, there's a few examples that the real world assets used in different countries. So like in the US, which actually just I mentioned before, the realty, or even in Singapore, a lot of adoptions being used in the luxurious real estate projects in Singapore. People can actually buy luxurious products uh, that actually have the smart contract written in the NFT. or some actually have a fractional of properties purchased through a tokenized method. So even in Dubai, probably you can actually see a lot of properties can be purchased through any their applications that actually also register their ownerships through the phone app. So for the future of the real world asset, it's actually a very promising because of using is driven by the integration of blockchain and tokenization. So as the world is actually becoming more and more digitized and decentralized, the real world asset is actually expected to undergo many changes or probably a lot of transformations, opening up to new investment opportunities. Like I shared with you guys probably yesterday on the UBX, we are actually partnering with the UBC. So actually the UBC is also a similar real world asset. The asset is actually the data, translated data that actually provides to the pin product, which actually give rewards back to the user. So there is actually many keys uh, that shows the trending futures of real world asset. Many actually has already understand or know about real world estate in the crypto world. Even institutions are also involving in the real world asset. So real world asset now is getting more and more popular to unify together in the decentralized blockchain world. People can use smart contracts to actually give instructions. Probably you will see a lot of smart contract to automate complex processes such as loan, debt repayment, or even asset management. So this will reduce the need of intermediary, which actually allow you to cut costs and speed up settlements or even claim processing. So the key benefit driving the future of the real world asset is actually the globalization of the real world asset. So tokenized real world asset are actually borderless. So as global investor base can grow, tokenized commodities and asset can be available to anyone as long as you have an internet connection. So this can particularly benefit emerging market where access to financial product and services are limited. Probably in Singapore, we have a lot of services in the financial world, but not forgetting there is a lot of probably countries that is still not very accessible to a lot of financial products. So just imagine every countries that can easily access as long as they have an internet. I believe this market will boom in the blockchain world. So even now, stable coins, people are actually accepting it as a real money in the digital world because stable coin can provide stable medium of exchange. Uh, Coins like USDT, we call it as TITL, it's actually pegged with US dollar. People can accept USDT as a digital currency easily at any part of the country. So, like I mentioned, real world asset is also a stable coin that actually backed with the value of real estate. So all this is actually very liquidity. It actually allow the past whereby real estate is which do not, or even uh, commodities which is not easily trade physically, can be traded easily over at any exchange. So now I show you some of the example of the stable coin, like the true USD, which actually backed by fiat currency like US dollar, or even the TITL, which is commonly used, which have high liquidity over most of the exchanges or even the centralized exchange. You also have the USDC, which actually issued by Circle, ensuring regularly audited reserve pegged to it. So even there is this token called DAI, which is actually backed up by issued by the MakerDAO. So it's actually backed by Ethereum and other crypto collateralized asset. So we have the PEG Gold, which actually backed by real gold reserve. Like the Tether Gold as well is also pegged by the price of gold. So you can see actually a lot of physical, a lot of probably if you want to buy gold, you do not require to actually go over to a counter to get the physical item. You can actually buy it. Like in the past, there is stock exchange. Probably now, you can actually even purchase it using digital tokens like the TITO, whereby it's actually you can see pairs in the exchange, which can see it pair up together with USDT. You can actually purchase using the TITOs to obtain the goal using when you buy this token. Okay, so a key takeaway, the real world asset is actually a bridge that actually allow the traditional finance to merge together with the decentralized finance. So this tokenization actually unlock a lot of opportunity. It can drive a lot of physical properties of physical items into the blockchain world. So still there is actually still a lot of fine tune need to be made as regulatory is not still very clear on the crypto regulations. But sooner or later, we will actually see since the US is starting to become very crypto, uh, very into the crypto. I mean, working on the, they are working towards to be a centralized sector with the crypto exchange. We will actually see a lot of opportunities coming up when the regulatory is much more clearer to everyone. So the future of real world asset tokenizations is actually very, very potential. in the financial world because it can leverage the blockchain technology. So real world asset will become more and more accessible to every individual, which actually create a lot of opportunity to global investors because no matter what, it can provide more transparency for any individual's investments. So, hope actually you guys managed to understand what is the real world asset and how is it linked together with the blockchain world. So probably in future you can find yourself buying a property or buying a car using and you are actually issued with the documentary as a smart contract, and you can actually sell your property or even your car to any individual using the smart contract. So this is something that we are actually moving towards too. Probably down the road, uh, let us probably 5 or 10 years, you might not be seeing any papers around you. You might be seeing all the digital contracts, smart contracts, and probably a lot of things is actually all self-guided. So hope you guys enjoy today's topic of the real world asset and hope that next few crypto 101 we can provide more crypto knowledge to you guys. So thank you for joining me and thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.